Good morning, Ian here. I'm going to show you how to do the easiest brake job ever. I got a 96 F-150, and the reason for this video is drove by the brake and muffler place yesterday and seen special brake job on sale, $229, and that burns my ass because brakes don't cost nothing. For the front brakes on this Ford truck, it's like I said, it's 96 F-150. For a set of the front brakes, 26 bucks. And I got the ones that's a couple above, they're not the cheapest ones. These are very good ones. You never want to get lifetime guaranteed brakes, or the cheap ones, because they're so hard they eat your rotors up. But I'm just thinking to myself, $229. I understand it's probably doing the back too, but I rarely do my back brakes. Front's where your stopping power is. I check them every now and then. Back brakes are drum brakes. And a lot of guys probably already know this, but my mom, she lived in Atlanta, and she took her car to the shop a lot of times, and it would just need something simple, you know, an air filter clogged up or something, need some spark plug wires or something, and you know, they would move her distributor and tell her she needed a new motor and all kind of stuff. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of ladies out there that probably would pay that $229 to get their car fixed or to get their brakes done. But really, it's no more than $25, and a $10 socket set will do it. A couple extra tools, not much though. So here we go. First thing you want to do is put something under the back tire, under the back wheel, because you're going to have your truck jacked up, and you want to chock the wheel so that it doesn't roll. I pulled a brick out of the flower bed, put back behind my back wheel. Alrighty, I'm going to break these loose before I jack it up. Brakes are so easy. Nobody should ever pay the garages that big money to do their brakes. I would like to put every brake business out of business just because they're rip-off artists. I mean, if you got to get into the transmission or a motor and rebuild it or something like that, I can understand you earning your money. Or, you know, that's a specialty. But they make it seem like a brakes are a big business, and it's bullshit. It makes me so mad. I was thinking about my mom getting ripped off, and I just get mad as hell about it. Okay, I've got a floor jack under the truck, under the front here, so I'm gonna go over here and jack this up a little bit, and then we'll take our tire off. Alrighty. Let me see. What is it here? Alright. The hardest thing about this brake job for me was trying to get the camera mounted somewhere where I can do it. I always lay a old car mat or a piece of cardboard down right where I'm working to lay my tools and parts on, or anything I might need, or drop or lose. Alrighty, let's take this tire off here. Okay. Come on. So you can see. Okay. Just making sure the camera can see the tire caliper good. Okay, this is the caliper. And it's got 2 bolts back here that hold it on. These are your brake pads. Always leave the other side intact in case you need to go back and look at it, but it's so simple you won't. Mine uses a half inch wrench or a half-inch socket will take mine loose. They'll either have this kind or an Allen wrench or a Torx head wrench, which is shaped like a star. Those are what's usually holding them on, and they're just about every single one of them. I don't care what kind of car you drive. On the front brakes, they're just about all the exact same. So I got a half-inch wrench here. I'm gonna take this off, or take these bolts loose. Oh. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay. Loosen that one a little bit. And after you get them loose, they usually come out pretty easy. They've got a little metal sleeve on the bolt, and it's usually inside a little rubber sleeve. Awesome. Alright, both of my bolts come out, my metal sleeve stays the same. There's the bolts. Alrighty. Okay. After you get the bolts loosened up, you're going to take and squeeze this together, because there's a, I'm trying to make sure you can see here. There is a, I'm going to turn the camera around here. Okay. There is a plunger there, and your caliper, that thing right there, see where it's out? Well, it's got to go back in. When you put on your brakes, it'll come out, and it makes your brakes squeeze like that. It makes them squeeze together. So you got to squeeze that back in to put the new brakes on, because they got more pad on them. But before you do that, you want to take the lid off your reservoir, or loosen it, because when you squeeze that caliper together, that plunger, and the fluid's going to come back into your reservoir. You don't want to mess your master cylinder up. I don't change my back brakes very often, but if you don't change your back brakes, I've ruined a brake power booster by letting my back brakes get too low. And a buddy of mine, I borrowed his truck to pull a camper one time, and his back brakes were low, and pulling that camper made his brake power booster go out. So I bought him a power booster to replace it, since I was borrowing his truck. But before you squeeze your caliper in, take your reservoir lid off. Okay. Now, a lot of people, sometimes you can take your caliper off and then squeeze it together. I squeeze mine together while it's still on the rotor. I'll show both ways. So, okay. Fixing my phone back here. Oh. There we go. Sorry for the bad camera angle. I just want everybody. I just think about my mom getting ripped off and stuff, and my daughters they wouldn't get their hands dirty, but you know, ladies would need a brake job and wouldn't have much money or something. You know, if you don't care to get you a C-clamp and a wrench, that's all it is to it. You just put it on there, and I'll put it right on the brake. I'll squeeze it back in, and that plunger's going in. Alrighty. Okay, that's it. It's sucked all the way back in there. I can see the brake fluid coming out. It overflowed my master cylinder. Okay, so now I will raise this caliper up. Here's the plunger I was talking about. It's in good shape. And I just set the caliper up there on top of the rotor. This is a rotor. And one at a time, I'll put my brakes in. My brake pads. Okay, these little clips here are made to hold your brakes in. So I'll pull the front one off. There's the difference between the new one and the old one. I still got plenty of pad on the old one, about half pad anyway. But cheap as they are, and my luck, I'm gonna go ahead and change them. Okay, now this little clip here will go on the front of the caliper or rotor. The caliper when I put it back on, but let's put the front one back on like that. And then I'll take the back one off. And you can take them both off, it's no big deal. When you do your little metal retainer there, though, usually comes off too. And the back side, it's wore down a lot more than the front side. So, put my new one on. Let's put it in there. Oops. And that's it. That is the brakes. So, yeah, there's the back one. I'll pull it back off. See, we did 2 brake jobs. I pull it back off, put it back on, did it again. That's how fast it is. I might have to pull my clip up a little bit. Pull my little clip up there a little bit so I can get it in. That's it. When you do your brakes, always check your rotor, make sure it's nice and smooth. Might have a little grooves in it. As long as it's good and thick here, you're all right. If it's got grooves in it, you can actually have them turned down. But like I said, if you buy those old cheap brakes, they're so hard, they'll usually smooth it back down for you. So, but the brakes are cheap enough. You can do them every 6 months. You know, $20 is what most of them are on little cars. Even less, $17, $18. And that's all it costs you for a brake job, just doing your front brakes, which is where most of your stopping power is on all these little cars, you know, little Nissans, Camrys, whatever. So, but now I will put my caliper back on. And this is a little bit trickier now, putting the caliper back on, because I got to pull, it's got to go in, them clips hold it. So I'm going to fix my phone back here. Alrighty. Oops. Okay. Now, all you want to do is take it. I just use my finger, but you know, if you're not strong, just pull that out a little bit to where it can go like that. Like it. I mean, you can use a screwdriver or anything to put it back in place there. Okay. And, you know, wiggle it, make sure it's in there good. It's hard to mess up. But put your bolts back in. Usually the little metal sleeve will come out with it also. So don't be surprised if your bolt comes out and it's got a metal sleeve on it, or the rubber bushing comes out also. That's okay. They'll go right back in with it when you put it back together, even if the metal bushing did come back out. But put your bolts back in. Just put your bolts back in. And you might have to wiggle it around a little bit to get it started. Just feel around there while you're turning, and you'll feel it start in. It might take you a minute sometimes, so don't get alarmed if it don't go right away as soon as you stick it in there. There it is. I find that the top one's easier to get started. I don't know why. But if you get your top started, then your bottom one's bound to be in the right place. So you might have to just wiggle. Ow! Be careful, it'll pinch you. Yeah, like it just did me. See the sleeve come back out that time when I pulled it back out. There's the sleeve. Okay. So just be careful, it'll pinch you. It's better to wear gloves. Go back in there, you joker, you. My tap it on a little rubber bushing's trying to be difficult. I'm gonna pull the camera over here where you can see. A little rubber bush in there. It's trying to be difficult. So I can set the phone out right. Get that part. Okay. See here, Mom. Okay. There we go. Okay, I think I got it started there. It won't hardly let me turn it, so. Shit. Again, I'm sorry for the bad camera work. Okay, I'm gonna tighten them up. I'll run that one in about halfway. Run this one in about halfway. Well, I'll go ahead and snug that one. Now I'll come back down here and finish tightening this one up. And this one's sticking out, so something ain't right. It shouldn't be sticking out that far, should it? Yep, that's it. Okay. We'll give it a little bit, one of them little smackaroos there. That's tight enough. This one ain't tight yet. A little bit of smackaroo like that. Don't have to be god awful tight. Just a little, you know. I'm a millwright, so they call it millwright type. Just give it a little. Okay. And that's it. What I do, I'll get a hose and a little hose and put on here and stick down in my brake fluid can, and that's how I'll bleed the brakes. But that's a brake job, and that's all there is to it. There ain't no $229 worth of shit there. So before you see when you see the brake sign, special $229, you know, just ask them about the front brakes. Say, how much is it for just the front brakes? And if you got a fairly new car, I mean, rarely do. You know, like I said, I've had this truck for 3 years now. I've not changed the back brakes once. And the front brake, that's where all your stopping power is, really. And that's it. If you like this old truck I've got a lot of projects getting ready to go on it. It's a 96 F-150, and if you like that or interested in watching me get this truck going back, or any of my guitar builds or amp builds, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I'll show you a little bit of what's going to be happening on the truck here. I got to change this. I ain't sure if I'm going to have to change the door or what, but I got a little wing there we got to go get at the junkyard. And right after bragging about having a crank window, that my power window, you know, my buddy has power windows and his didn't work. I was like, well, I got a crank window. I don't have to worry about that. Bullshit. something happened, and right after I did that, knock on wood, and it quit working. So, but gotta replace that wing. My steering column's a mess. Gonna be installing some stereo stuff. There's my steering column. Got that all tore out of the heel. Got some bondoing and body work to do on it. That's the driver's side. Spot there, and there. I might get a new fender, a whole front end if I can get it cheap enough. I'm gonna do it on a budget, so I'm gonna do it cheap as I can possibly do it. There's the front end of it. See my wood? I gotta fix the frame rail back. I got it laying over here. Cut it off. A lady hit me from the side, and I had to cut it off. But here's the fender. I'm gonna change that out probably. I might fix it. I don't know. Body work's not that hard. I'm gonna be doing some painting on it. Got some stuff underneath on the frame I gotta fix up. That's gonna be some projects I'm gonna be putting on here. Like I said, if you like my content, if this seems like something you'd be interested in learning how to do any of it, please subscribe. Thanks a lot, y'all. Have a good day.